is what's going on right now. The winter conditioning, the off-season conditioning
yeah.
stuff. Like you see the videos of what these guys are doing. They're getting back to some of the old school lifts. You're seeing them, guys deadlifting 500 pounds. You're seeing them get under a ton of plates and squats. Like those are things that I was discussing this today during my workout with my trainer. It's like half the battle is the mental side, doing really hard things and understanding that not only am I going to make it through, but I got more in my tank than my mind tells me I do. And so I think that's what you're seeing from these guys is developing a toughness, that edge. The edge is developed right now, but also the closeness of a team is developed through those hard off-season workouts.
Another Dooley Noted podcast comes to you from the Meldon Law Studios at the Hacienda.
Okay, welcome into another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging and coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios here at the Hacienda. We appreciate everybody for listening and watching. We have a great show today. Chris Doering is going to join us. We'll talk about multiple things with him, including I'm going to try to get him, see if he'll agree with this. Like the Spurrier Awards are coming out. The first year coach, freshman player, those are coming out next Monday. Or on Monday. So, and they're going to have a big ceremony and everything. And they need a name though, like the Emmys, the Oscars, the Spurriers. They should just call it the Spurriers. I'll see if I can get him to, because he's a sponsor of it. So, Doering Mortgage. Monday, Coach Spurrier will be in here. On the following Thursday, our friend Jeff Goodman, who does a great job, Field of 68, knows college basketball as good as anybody. Love having him on. And we'll go from there. God, we're almost done with February. It's unbelievable. I did want to mention that yesterday I was at the funeral of Bill Donovan. It was Billy Donovan's eulogy was amazing. He told just a hilarious story about what a guy that Bill Donovan made his kids do the right thing. We need more parents like Bill Donovan out there. I can tell you that. So many people there that I hadn't seen in a while, including Mike Hill was there. That was really cool. A lot of other people, Torian Green, we talked for a long time, and I'll mention something that he said a little bit later in the show. But Chris Harry shared this picture on Twitter that Todd Golden's dad had sent him. These are two dads who have won national championships. And of course, that's Bill on my right. Maybe your left, but anyway, Bill in the yellow sweater and Todd Golden's dad in the blue sweater. And I asked him if I could share it, and he said, yeah, absolutely. What a cool moment. This is them going to the national championship game. And of course, Todd's dad's not aware they're about to win another one, but really cool. And that was an important thing in Bill's life that the University of Florida, and give them a lot of credit, continued to let him have great seats and take him to the Final Four and things like that. And believe me, that Billy is very, he loves the University of Florida so much. Let's just put it that way. That's all I want to say about it. Now, and as do I, and that's why we have Gator stuff in the background here. All right, so appreciate that. Let us move to start our show with, as we always do, with our MoneyMetals.com Starting 5.
MoneyMetals.com is your home for gold and silver purchases, one of the largest distributors in all the United States. 2 Gator grads are running it, and you can reach them at 1-800-800-1865 or at MoneyMetals.com.
Okay, and I just wanted to say, I got a package in the mail the other day from Mike Gleason, who from Money Metals, and Stephen Gleason. They run it, a couple of Gator grads, as we said, and came in this really cool little box, and I'm wondering what's in it. And I pull it out, and here it is, and it's a silver dollar, basically, but it's got a Braves. I got to get it up in the air. It's got the Braves on the background. I don't know. I'm not good at showing things here. There we go. You can see it right there. And then there's another thing, the state of Florida here. Really cool stuff, and really appreciate them. I probably didn't show up very well, but I'll work on that. We'll bring it into the studio on Monday and be able to show it a little better. But really appreciate MoneyMetals.com. All right, let's get to number 1 on our starting 5, and that is Florida basketball winning its 6th in a row. And this is one of the things that Tori and I talked about yesterday, that I said, you know what's amazing is you guys have set such a standard that when that game was over, I was like, I'm not going to give them great grades. I didn't think they played that well. I'm like, this is a standard. You won easily. The game was never in doubt. You knew you were going to win the whole time. You won by double digits, but you had 14 turnovers. And, two of your guys, I think it was, I know it was Condon. Was it Condon and Lee had 4 each in the second half? And, you got to keep the edge. But that's after a win. And like we were saying, my philosophy is win by one. And I kind of went against that. And that's bad on Pete. Bad Pat. Anyway, but they won and they played great, and in terms of taking care of business. And sometimes that's what you do. We've seen Florida football, we've seen Florida basketball, we've seen Florida tennis, we've seen it all, Florida baseball. Lose games because maybe they didn't go in with the right attitude. I think this team carried the right attitude, and I think sometimes you're playing against a team that's different, and you're going to kill them on the boards, which they did, and you think, no big deal. We're going to cruise through this one. They got 2 wins in the conference. But it wasn't in doubt, and that's what I have to kind of keep reminding myself of. Your win by one is what you say. Win by one. All right. Obviously, the game this week is Ole Miss, and this is another thing Tori and I talked about, and this is why I wanted to mention it. Again, talking with Tori, and it's always great. Because Billy asked him, he says, who do you got next? And I interjected, I said, at Ole Miss. And he asked if they were any good, and I said, not really. Their record's not good. They've lost a lot of games, but they're dangerous because you know what? It's on the road. I'm sorry. I believe in road teams, road underdogs too, and Florida better be ready. And Torian and I talked about that. The target's back on the back. Target went away for a little while. It was there at the beginning of the season, and then it went away after those 4 or 5 losses. There at some point there, the target was gone. It was totally gone. Then they started playing like they've been playing the last 6 games, bookending those South Carolina wins. And I think everybody's just, and some other wins too earlier in the season, but I think everybody's just like, the target's back. Yeah. Now, there are a lot of targets out there, I will say that, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But at any rate, let's move along to number 2 on our moneymetals.com, starting 5. And number 2 is, I don't know if you guys watched it last night. It wasn't a late game, but it went late. But that Arkansas-Alabama game might have been the best basketball game I've seen in the last 5 years. I don't want to go too far and say, it's one of the greatest games I've ever seen. It was an unbelievable game. Now, not if you like defense. Nobody played defense in this game. I don't know if you didn't know or are not aware. I'm sure most of you are. In double overtime, Alabama won 117-115. NBA game. Darius Acuff, who in my mind, and I hate to say this to Gator fans, is now a lock for Player of the Year. I know that I said Bucky McMillan was locked for Coach of the Year, and he probably ain't going to be it now. He still might. But Darius Acuff scoring 49 in a game like that, where he has to score every time, and it was kind of close between him and Houck, I think, and there were a couple other guys in there you got to mention But you're talking about probably the 2 best teams. In fact, I think talent-wise, Arkansas is the best team in the league. Just pure talent. They have a lot of problems. There's so many guys in that team that I love watching play that are really good players. And that's what made that game great, because Philon's doing it on the other end. I think he ended up with, 35, 36? But the key to this, of course, is that Arkansas lost, which means Florida's lead is now 2 games in the SEC. Very cool. Again, I'm not saying it's over, but it's not over. You got to go take care of business this Saturday, because if you don't do that, then guess what? You've let it all go. You're back to a 1-game lead probably, and we'll see. But we'll see. And as Florida goes forward in the SEC, other games last night in the SEC, Georgia, or this week, Georgia beat Kentucky, and that I don't say it. I don't think it locks a bit up for Georgia. I think it allows Georgia to feel more comfortable about it. I think they're still like a 10 seed. 9 maybe. Some people are going to say that locked it up for them, and it's certainly a big win. It was on the road, but we'll see what happens. Missouri beating Vanderbilt, very big for Missouri, and Vanderbilt seems to be fading. I don't know. I didn't watch any of that game. I'll tell you the quick story on that in a minute. But and then Mississippi State beats Auburn, and Auburn now 14-12. I did a thing on the patreon.com site /Dooley Noted that I write on every Wednesday. I write and every Wednesday and Friday I do a 5 things. And the 5 things for this week were the 5 SEC teams that are on the bubble in my mind, and what their chances were and how the schedules all match up. Auburn is the one that I think right now they're definitely out. And they've got to find a way to win some games. I just got to say, I'm not blaming Stephen Pearl, okay? I know a lot of people will want to. I'm not blaming him. He's part of the problem, but I just think they have a lot of head cases on that team. That's just my opinion. Anyway, so it was a wild week. And again, what we're talking about right now is seeding. We want Florida to win the SEC. SEC championships matter around here. They're important. We certainly want that as the number 1 goal for the regular season. The number 2 goal is to get that 1 seed, and if you end up tying, like I said before, everybody gets a trophy. It's like a participation thing. If 5 teams tie, they all tie, which is fine. I mean, you all tied, but there'll only be one number 1 seed, and the 1 seed is a good place to be in the SEC tournament, mainly because you get to play normal times. You get morning games, not morning, but I guess it's technically morning there. You get it out of the way. You got plenty of time to look over things. It is the ideal. Not only that, but you end up with the double bye. You don't play till Friday at noon or 1 o'clock, whatever time it is. Anyway, I think it is important, but it's not be all end all. It's more important to win it. All right, let's move to number 3 on our MuddyMeadows.com. Starting 5 and sweep for Gator baseball. I watched parts of both of the games. Once they got a big lead, last night I stopped. But when they went to Stetson, and don't forget, last year I know they lost 1 to Stetson, and Stetson's always a problem for Florida. I mean, these are a bunch of guys. 2 of them are former Gators who feel like they didn't get a shot, and now they want to go there. But a former Stetson Hatter, Kyle Jones, hit a grand slam in the first game, and then last night they blew them out. The first game, their biggest problem was they couldn't field. The pitcher kept making errors. They had 2 pitchers come in, and they made 3 errors in 1 inning. So, but look, it's very early. This team's just getting started. I think this is a fun time for Kevin O'Sullivan. I think it was Sean Kelly that said this on the air, that right now, or it could have been anybody, is a good time because everybody's auditioning for the once we get into the SEC schedule, and certainly auditioning for FSU games and auditioning for the Miami series. But the Miami series is another audition. The bottom line is you want to get into a place where the 9 guys you want to write into the lineup almost every day, and have your alternatives if you need them. Have your 3 starters on Friday night. Have your middle relief. Have your bullpen. That's what you want to find. Slowly you can find it. Sometimes you don't find it. Let's be honest. Sometimes it's hard to find. Not everybody can find it every year. And we'll see what Sully can do this year with this team. It's so far so good. I mean, they lost that first game, but they fought back in that one. After that, though, they've been fine. They've been running through everybody. So we'll see how it all goes. And, of course, weekend series this weekend, we'll see how that goes with Kennesaw State. I don't know that anybody's overwhelmed by those games, but they certainly are being played. It's the best thing to say about them. I don't know why it's been a kind of a soft schedule. I guess UAB is not really that soft. I mean, UAB is a pretty good program. But anyway, let's move along to number 4 on our MoneyMetals.com, starting five, and that would be the softball team, which is now 14-0, which is, look, you played 14 games. What can you do better than 14-0? Can't be 15-0 till you play another game. So 14-0, great start. Again, I think it's been a little bit of a soft opening. Jossie Erickson, a couple of homers yesterday. They swept UNF, beat them there, and then beat them back here. Right now, their team batting average 394. Their team ERA 183. They've got games at 3:30 Friday, which is odd. No, or is it Friday at 6? 3:30, 4:30, and 11. I don't know why I've written that down wrong. But whatever, the games are this weekend. You know that. I think I wrote them down correct over here. So let me look for over here. No, I don't think I wrote them down at all over there. Anyway, they're probably on the plus, but I couldn't find that any evidence of that. So we'll see what happens with softball going forward. Again, another, it's like Bellarmine and teams like that coming in here. And it's just a matter, again, the same kind of thing. Let me find out who can play. Let me find out who I can count on. And then you go into the interesting part of the season, which starts really next weekend when they go out to the West Coast for that tournament they play in every year. Okay, let's move along to number 5 on our MoneyMetals.com starting 5, and that is the injuries of college basketball. And this is like every time a player on Florida's team hits the deck, which happens constantly, that's what college basketball is. First of all, you're driving in at odd angles and you're getting bumped and everything. But anyway, every time somebody hits a deck, you kind of hold your breath because they've got their 8. Their 8 are great. We love their 8. But you don't want to get to 9 and 10. And 9 and 10, look, they haven't played enough. And they haven't played enough because you want to get 8. And that's what every college basketball team wants to do. That 2000 team that Florida got to the national championship game was an aberration. They had 10. And I mean 10 starters. They were bringing Donnell Harvey and Matt Bonner and Brett Nelson off the bench. That was that team. I've never seen a team with 10 players that good. I haven't personally. Anyway, but we're seeing this happen more and more. We're seeing it happen with arms. We're seeing it happen with ACLs. We're seeing it happen with Achilles. In sports, I think guys are overtraining to a point, trying to do too much. That goes into the arms. People, the latest was Hurston Waldrop and J.J. Gardner, too, up at JU. Of course, my buddy Paul Gardner, his son's having some shoulder or elbow problems. But Hurston Waldrop, some pediments are loose in there. And anyway, my point, and now we've got this in basketball where it feels like every day somebody's getting hurt. And Arkansas, one reason they lost last night is they ran out of players. They only had 7 players available, lost 4 of them. So they had to bring 2 guys in or never play. But I mean, look, they still played great. It was a great game. But the latest was JT Toppin. Found that out yesterday. That was, guy, you hate to see that. JT Toppin's as good as they get. And I'm sitting there looking at him, for obviously Texas Tech, but I'm looking at him and saying, wow, I was worried about JT Toppin if Florida played them this year like they played them last year. He's a really good player. He's got an ACL. Richie Saunders from BYU tore his ACL. I think everybody just kind of discounting BYU. They played their butts off last night and just lost Arizona. But anyway, just a lot of injuries. There's some more that we could get to, but I don't want to bore you with guys that are hurt. But anyway, you hate to see that. You want to see everybody at full strength. I used to be one of these guys, ooh, is that guy hurt? That'd be great for the Gators, Now I'm like, no, you want to see everybody at their peak and beat them at their best. I've kind of taken that Bill Donovan approach, That's my new thing. I'm going to try to make everybody feel like they're the most important person in the room, the way Bill Donovan did. All right. That's going to do it for our MoneyMetals.com starting 5. Again, appreciate our friends over there, Mike and Stefan. And appreciate those coins they sent me. They're very nice. I wish I could show them better than I did. Here's another one right here. Yeah, that one's gold. You see, with those things on, you can't see it. I'll work on that. Very nice. And you can purchase them at moneymetals.com is the place to go. All right, let us take a break. When we come back, Chris Doering will join us. We'll talk to him about the Spurriers and the also what John Summerall needs to do this spring. That's one topic I want to talk to about, some other ones. And we'll play Yes, No, Where, maybe with him. This is another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging. Coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. We'll be right back after this break.
Money Metals Exchange is a new sponsor for our starting five here on another duly noted podcast. And we are so happy to have a group that is formed by two Florida grads, Mike and Stephen Gleason. They do a great job up there. If you're looking to buy or sell any gold or silver products, this is the place for you. And you can reach them at moneymetals.com. Also, phone number 1-800-800-1865. They are the place to go. They run the largest Class 3 precious metals depository west of New York. They've been voted the best online precious metals dealer in the United States by Investopedia. It's a bull market right now. Everybody needs to get in on the gold and silver markets, especially silver. So it's a great time to jump in. I looked at it yesterday. I was on the website for a while. And it was amazing how many different things they have. Coins and rounds and bars and just all kinds of special things. And I think you would have a great time just going in there and browsing. And look, the prices are right there. You know how much it is. Money Metals Exchange is the place to go. Again, Mike and Stephen Gleason do a great job. You can reach them at moneymetals.com or reach them at 1-800-800-1865. Adams Rib Company has been a staple of Gainesville for more than a decade and a staple of the Dooley house ever since Kelsey's teeth came in. The first time I walked into Adams, I told my daughter that the green beans are always a test of a great barbecue restaurant, and they were perfect. You know about the ribs that melt in your mouth, and my favorite, the turkey plate. But be sure to go in on Fridays for Nana's Fish Nuggets. They will melt in your mouth. Adams Rib Co., a Gainesville great.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
All right, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. It's a great pleasure to bring on our Big Mills Zoom line, our great friend Chris Doering, Doering Mortgages, Doering, the legend on SEC radio, podcast, Sirius. One time caught a touchdown pass, I heard.
They showed that at the game on Tuesday night. There, they showed the Kentucky catch. Yeah, it was fun. Obviously, I appreciate being recognized by the university, by the basketball program. Sitting down there with Danny and Coach and Jerry was awesome. But I'm not sure how many of the people in attendance knew that they kind of showed it without the audio, and so it wasn't necessarily. I don't know if they knew what it was from, but it looks like it was grainy, like from the 50s. But I guess to these kids, it's probably, that was 33 years ago almost. So it might as well be the 50s.
Well, that I'm sure a lot of the kids were going, there was not HD then?
Definitely looks like it was more than 33 years ago for sure.
That's the thing. Sometimes there'll be an old game on, like from the 80s. Or 90s, and I want to see some of it, and I realize the score's not on there, and I go, come on, what was the score at this point?
Yeah, how'd we live without the score on the bug? How'd we live without the first down line to gain on the screen? I mean, it definitely has made watching games a lot. The technology we complain about sometimes, but I think from a broadcast standpoint, there's been some good advancements for sure.
Well, one thing we don't complain about, of course, the Coach Spurrier's Awards are coming up on Monday, and you're the major sponsor for that Doering Mortgage. We appreciate that. I'm trying to get them, I'm going to make a push to call them the Spurriers. because right now it's just first year coach of the year. You got to have like a catchy like Emmys, Oscars, Spurriers.
Yeah, it's the Steve Spurrier First Year Coach of the Year award, which is a mouthful. But I'm with you. You know, we've kind of made it like the Steve Spurrier awards, but I think you're right. The Spurriers would be nice and compact and concise and efficient, and really, you know, it's grown. Pat, you've been around since the inception, and this is our 5th year. Really proud of what we've been able to create and honoring coach and to honor the great sport of college football in such a short period of time. But it was initially just the First Year Coach of the Year. Then we added the legend piece, and guys like Mark Stoops and Frank Beamer and Mark Richt have been honored there. And then we added the freshman awards, and we expanded that to freshman offensive player, defensive player, special teams, and those coaches of those players have attended. I mean, it really has gained tremendous momentum. And Pat, I don't know if you recognize this or not, but Coach Spurrier, he stole my line last year. He got to speak first, and I thought I'd come up with a pretty cool, tag for what this award has done for our community. I said, for one night here in February, it's the epicenter of college football with the who's of people that show up, and then Coach used it. So I don't have the heart to try to tell him it wasn't his, but he could certainly use it for sure.
I think he used it on the radio too with us before.
He probably did. He did. And it's true. I mean, I think, you know, obviously we love Gator football. I think concentrically Gator football is the center, SEC football, but college football in general, you know, it means so much to the people in this part of the state. And I think it brings me great pride to have all of these different coaches descending on Gainesville and the players that come along. It really is celebrating the best part of college football with these players and coaches.
Absolutely. It was great. I mean, we had Fran Brown on one year and, Sonny Dykes, and it's just cool guys, and it's cool to see them around town.
What do you think, Pat, what was the over-under on the number of times that Coach Spurrier described the beating that TCU took from Georgia as getting clobbered that day? I mean, right to Coach Dykes' face, kept telling him how much they got clobbered.
Got clobbered in that championship game. No, it's a great event, and I've gotten to meet a lot of cool players. And in fact, one year Mark Richt was there, and I went up to him, and I just wanted to tell him how I appreciated him when I was in the media. He was always very forthright and good guy to talk to, and I hope he grasped what I was trying to say. It was a little loud in there, but he's a really good guy. I really like Mark Richt.
It's so funny, isn't it, Pat? Because, you know, I think we take on this us against everybody else mentality, and we think about Mark Richt as a Georgia coach and being the enemy, or you think about, you know, Kirby Smart. Kirby and Coach Spurrier actually have a really cool relationship, and there's a lot of admiration mutually between those two guys. I think that's going to be a fun dynamic to see those guys interacting with each other. But my job with the SEC Network and SiriusXM has allowed me to get outside of the fandom part of it and get to know some of these players and coaches, get to know the traditions at these schools. Like, they may be different colors, they may be different pieces of history, but the passion is shared by all the fan base in the SEC. And I love, even though there's so much change taking place in college football, there still is this passion that remains, and the product on the field has never been better than it is right now.
It's kind of funny. You and I are going in opposite directions, because all the time I was a sports writer, I had to have a neutral facade at least, you know, and I'd grown up a Gator fan my whole life, but I had to be neutral, and you know that. And then now that I'm not writing for a newspaper, I've got a Florida Golf sweatshirt on. You know?
Oh, believe me, I saw J.C. Deacon at the game the other night. I hit him up for the little swinging gate. I said, Coach, I need some. I felt like I was going full Peter Burns. Nobody gets free stuff more than Peter Burns does. So I felt a little weird about it, but JC was awesome. I look forward to donning the Gator gear too.
Oh, I'm right up there with him, because I actually talked Tom Hart on our podcast last week into giving me his Pop-Tart windbreaker, so that he had tweeted out as how cool it was. I go, you need to send that down here. We'll give it away for charity. And he goes, no, you won't. You'll keep it. I go, yeah, I'll keep it. But it's on the way, so that's good.
That's funny. I actually I covered the Pop-Tart. Actually, I'm sorry, it was the Cheez-It Bowl back then. And it was Purdue LSU. I covered it for ESPN Radio. And one of the things I walked away with was one of those like aprons that you wear when you're grilling and all. And I don't think it's seen the light of day since. So I might need to donate that to you as well.
Okay, we'll take it. We'll take it. We like all those kind of things. I did want to talk because you're getting ready to go on, I'm sure, a spring training tour of some kind. You're going to be around talking to a lot of different people. But let's talk about Florida and what you think, because I have a feeling about what I think John Summerall needs to get done this spring. You're not going to win any games this spring. We know that. But there are things that they need to get better at this spring.
I
What do
think
you
he's winning right now, right? I mean, every time he steps in front of a camera, he's killing it and endearing himself to Gator fans. That maybe the most popular soundbite came on Dusty and Danny's show the other day when he was talking about, these guys. I told them they're getting paid. Shut up and do the job, And I think that it is cool to see coaches that still hold players accountable, despite having to feel like maybe you're held hostage a little bit to some degree because of the transfer portal. I think Kirby coaches those guys at Georgia really hard, and I love what he said. During the season, it's like these guys either come in and work hard and get up to speed with the culture and the expectation here, or they get in the portal and they go somewhere else, and then we schedule that team because we know that they're soft and they accept less than what we do. So, I think Coach Summerall is doing a great job right now. It's been funny, isn't it? Like the initial backlash when we found out as fans that it wasn't going to be Lane, to all right, maybe this guy's all right, to this is our guy. We avoided a bullet with Lane Kiffin, and Summerall was a gift from above. And I think to me it's there needs to be a level of accountability that the players are held to. I think there was a lot of really good intention in the last few years, but I don't think there was really holding feet to the fire the way that I feel like this coaching staff is going to hold these guys accountable to.
Yeah, and we're going to have them on next week. I'm going to talk to them about it. The edge that has been lacking at Florida. There's just not been an edge to the program. And it's hard for me to define what I consider an edge, but you know what an edge is. I mean, do you guys come out here and are prepared to play every game? Have you studied the film so that these are easy questions,
More important than that is what's going on right now. The winter conditioning, the off-season conditioning stuff. Like you see the videos of what these guys are doing. They're getting back to some of the old school lifts. You're seeing them, guys deadlifting 500 pounds. You're seeing them get under a ton of plates and squats. Like those are things that I was discussing this today during my workout with my trainer. It's like half the battle is the mental side, doing really hard things and understanding that not only am I going to make it through, but I got more in my tank than my mind tells me I do. And so I think that's what you're seeing from these guys is developing a toughness, that edge. The edge is developed right now, but also the closeness of a team is developed through those hard off-season workouts. You remember when Coach Tootin was putting us through what we were throwing up out there on the field. We dreaded on Fridays having to go in and do the leverage leg press. We'd ask the early group, "How was it today, guys?" Man, and you'd be wringing your hands all day long. Like it literally is an us against everybody else kind of mentality that's developed during this time of year.
And that's what I always tell people. You don't get in shape during a season. You get in shape before the season. And
for sure. Yeah, it's a lot different.
And then you just do things to keep your, muscles.
Well, that's what was so frustrating, I think, looking back on the DJ Lagway situation. He was just unavailable for everything last year. And you talk about getting in shape. You also can't refine your skills in the season. It was tough. I mean, he's having to try to do this in front of everybody in the bright lights, and you could see he was just rusty. He didn't know where to go with the ball, didn't have any sort of real relationship with the receivers. It's what happens when you don't have the ability to be present and active and going through all of these different things that you're allowed to do now in the offseason with the players.
It's going to be interesting with Faulkner too, because now we know he's got these weapons. He's got a elite tailback. He's got elite wide receivers, and how he makes that all work out.
It is that was maybe one of my most exciting kind of things in the offseason was the retention of the key players. Miles Graham was one of those first guys on defense that you get back. Vernell Brown, same thing, and then Dallas Wilson you hear is coming back. Jaden Ball, like getting these guys that it doesn't matter that they were recruited by a different staff. It's like, I want to be here. I enjoy, what it means to be a Gator, and I'm buying what this coach is selling. And for the people that I talked to that were in that introductory meeting with him and the team, there were more F-bombs dropped in 15 minutes than there were the entire Napier tenure. And I think you need that. I forget, you know how I speak.
There's the edge. There it is.
You've got to, I think, there were a lot of players from what I understood that sat up straight and like, all right, I can get behind this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll see how it all goes, and we'll see how the spring goes. And the Spurrier Awards are on Monday, and I know you're excited about that. But before you go, we have to play yes, no way, or maybe. And when is the SEC show going to steal that one? You stole everything else of mine, that birthday game, and
did we steal the birthday game? I didn't even know you were a birthday game guy.
I did the birthday game back at that old station downtown.
The X 1099.
Yes.
Yeah. Every time I drive by there, I think about doing Sunday night shows with you back in the day.
That was a blast.
Yeah.
All right, so Big Mill's Cheesesteak is a sponsor of Yes, No Way, or Maybe, and you can just ask them when you walk in, hey, I listened to this podcast with Doering, you get free fries with your order. How about
I'm surprised maybe is an option, Pat. You want people sitting on the fence here? You don't want more definitive answers?
Well, I've got to have that for Robbie because he's old.
That's true.
He's a day older than me, so I can call him old.
I love that guy.
He's the best. All right, number one on Yes, No Way, or Maybe with Chris Doering. You've been so busy lately, your golf game sucks.
Oh, yes, definitively, yes. And here's the problem, Pat. This is the time where I'm starting to have to go to these events. We're having a golf round down at the course formerly known as Adena on Monday as part of the big sponsors for the Spurriers. And then I got to go. There's a Citrus Bowl tournament that I got to play in and a couple other events. So, like, I've completely lost it. And this is part of my evaluation at 52. It's like, what am I doing with my life? Like, I used to play golf 5 days a week. Now, like you talked about going in reverse, I'm going in reverse where I work more hours longer and do less of the stuff that I like now than I did when I was in my 20s and 30s.
Got to get it back, man. You got to find the joy.
Gotcha.
Finding the joy.
Gotcha.
All right, number two on Yes, No Way, or Maybe with Chris Doering. Chris, you had to watch your language sitting next to Danny Werfel and Steve Spurrier the other night.
Yeah, I don't say the F word in front of Coach Spurrier because that was one. He told us what you were allowed to say.
You can say the S word.
Yeah. Danny, I think sometimes I do the opposite to Danny. You remember Nick Gillum at your birthday party a long time back. He described us as the angel and the devil on each shoulder. So I think sometimes I try to go above and beyond just to push Danny's comfort level. But it's respectful cursing. It's nothing meant to be derogatory in any way.
You don't yell at the refs though, or anything, right?
No, I'm the worst. When my kids were playing sports, I was literally lighting up the refs who were probably college students just making $12 an hour. But I get into it a little too much. You know how competitive I am, Pat.
Oh, when I was in college, I got ejected from a game. So I mean, not playing the game from the stands, I got ejected.
That's great.
Not many people can say that.
I think I hold the record still probably for intramural ejections during my time in Florida playing intramural basketball and softball. So
yeah, I had a couple of those too. Well, we're just competitive. That's all.
Yep.
And finally, on Yes, No Way, or Maybe with Chris Doering, in your training and getting ready and getting in shape the way you are, you have tried Rocky's raw egg theory of drinking a glass of raw eggs.
I've never tried that. I did do this, though. I was living in Yon Hall my freshman year, and I decided I was going to put weight on by drinking a half gallon of milk every night before bed. That lasted one night. Drinking a half gallon of milk is not good for you, nor is it good for your stomach. And that was about it. I'm a sucker, though. I'm a sucker for two things. I've always been a sucker for supplements. And I don't know how much you pay attention, but creatine was just coming out at Florida when I was my senior year. So Schmitty and Rob Glass had me on creatine, which put some good weight on me and all, and have used it a lot over the years. Creatine now is like one of the most popular supplements out there. But I'm a sucker for, the number of supplements that I have, from protein to glutamine to paleo greens to all the beetroot and everything else. It's they make a lot of money off of me. But my vanity also is my susceptibility. Going to some of the aesthetic centers and getting the facials and getting all the serums and stuff, man, I can see how there's a lot of women that get sucked into paying a lot just to try to stay as young as possible, man. So that's really my Achilles heel.
I have two Achilles heels. You only have one. One is yours is artificial, isn't it?
Yeah, my left one, it's not artificial. It's just surgically repaired, so it doesn't quite feel the same as the natural one on the right.
It's just like when they give you new knees, like Chris Harry got them. I have two. I told Chris, it ain't gonna be the knees God gave you. I can tell you that right now. But it's gonna be better than the pain you're going through.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of a shoulder issue going on. Had a long time tear in the back and like the arthritis. I'm trying to hold off as long as I can. But I think I'm gonna have to give in on that one of these days. And my dad's had the knee thing too, and he's doing a lot better now too.
Yeah, I told him. I said, look, it's tough. Just do everything they tell you, and you'll be fine.
That's right. Be coachable.
Yep, exactly. All right, Chris, it's always great talking to you, buddy.
Pat, when is this running here, man? Is this when does this debut?
It'll be run tonight. Yep.
All right, it's Thursday night tonight. I'm heading tomorrow, Oxford, Mississippi in the morning. I'll be courtside down there cheering the Gators on against Ole Miss on Saturday. Hopefully we get a big win and keep this thing rolling and on to a regular season conference championship.
How are you getting that kind of treatment?
Just know the right people. You know, I've got. I've been instructed that I can't wear Gator gear on the front row down there, but I'll have some subtle Gator stuff going on for sure.
Just wear Gator underwear and socks.
That's right. Well, if I wore underwear, I would, Pat. But you know, I mean, no, I'm kidding. Hey,
are you Kramer?
Yeah, I don't want to draw the ire of Chris Beard. I don't know if you've ever interviewed Chris Beard before, but my man Chris he's become a friend off the court. But like when I interview him, I'm intimidated almost to the point of like when I talked to Saban back in the day.
Actually, the guy who used to do that to me was Mark Stoops. You know,
Yep.
It just seemed like he might just come after you or something.
Well, Stoops is a defensive-minded guy. Those defensive coaches are a little different. I played for all offensive guys from college to the NFL except for Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher scared the hell out of me.
I bet he did. All right, Chris, we will be back with more of another Duly Noted podcast right after we take this break. Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah, it's fun, man. Always enjoy it, Pat. Thanks
Coach, you know what always impressed me? How you beat Florida State to win the 1996 National Championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You know, you won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spur's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave, Los Landeros tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean head beer coach, 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros tequila, smooth enough to drink neat and bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Landeros tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Landeros.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
All right, it may be a new year, but it doesn't mean you have to back off any of your goals as far as losing weight. I know I've been working even harder on it, and of course I get an assist from BMI TeleMed. They help us out with our New Year's resolutions, even if I've already broken 2 of them. Not the food ones, though. Weight loss is your goal. Get with BMI TeleMed. They use GLP-1 medications, and they are individualized, and that's the great thing. I've been through this, and Charlie, just talking to him, it was so great to make him understand, and he understood what I was doing. It's not about just losing weight. It is about keeping it off. You know that. We're all excited about the new year, and we're going to lose weight, but when you lose it in the first month, then you got to keep going. BMI TeleMed is sensible. It's straightforward. It's affordable. No contracts or hidden costs. BMI TeleMed is donating $1 for every pound you lose to the Florida Victorious Foundation. So go Gators. Join the listeners on this podcast who've already lost over 600 pounds. Are you kidding me? I'm 60 of them. right there. All right, contact BMI TeleMed today at 727-383-1677.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Okay, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. As the garbage truck is backing up, if you can hear it out there. It's always exciting on Thursdays here at the Dooley Dome. All right, let's get to our Hesser and Kipkey. Three things. Hesser and Kipkey, with over 50 years of combined legal experience in North and Central Florida, Hesser and Kipkey is your place for bankruptcy, workers' compensation, and family law. Call or text Ken and Jennifer at 352-339-9920, Hesser and Kipkey. All right, let's start off with the story that's kind of shaking up baseball because we're worried about a lockout this year. There's a real chance of that happening. And now the Major League Baseball's Players Association does not have they have a leader. They had a leader, and then he resigned. There was an investigation into him having an inappropriate relationship with his sister-in-law. That's cold, man. That's cold. Who also worked for him. So that Bruce Meyer is a new, I don't know much about him. Everybody was trying to tell me about him and with these stories, and I'm like, I don't care. Just tell me whether they're playing baseball or not. That's all I care about. And we'll see. I mean, it certainly is an interesting development in terms of we're not that far away from, it getting, where you can't, there's a deadline. You got to get starting to play. We'll see what happens, though. It's going to be interesting to happen, but Tony Clark not getting it done. Well, getting it done, I guess, just not getting it done where you needed to be getting it done. All right, number 2 on our Hesser and Kipkey, 3 things. Certainly good news that Tiger Woods is not ruling out the Masters. That's good. That's all I want. If you show up, they're going to follow you every shot, and I'll watch it because Tiger Woods is still the number 1 name in golf. Doesn't matter if he's any good anymore. It really doesn't. I hope he is. I hope he can play well enough that we have an exciting situation on a Sunday, like he's 3 back and makes a little Tiger charge. Whether he wins or not isn't important to me. It's is he there playing on the weekend? He said the Achilles is fine. He's hitting full shots. He's not very sharp, I'm sure. Now his son's commitment to FSU is out of the way. He's a Knoll. So I guess he'll be wearing FSU stuff. And will I not like Tiger Woods then? But I'll still watch him. That's the thing about Tiger. Your grandma will watch Tiger. It's not all your grandmas, but people will watch Tiger who are not big golf fans. And that's why they just need him out there. Even if he's just a ceremonial guy. But, I don't know. I wouldn't watch that. All right, let's get to number 3 on our Hesser and Kipkey 3 things, and that is that I wanted to talk about the United States and Canada women playing the gold medal game. Unfortunately, we got pushed back a little bit on our interview today, so it's probably happening as we're speaking right now, and maybe it already happened. But they're playing for the gold. Go USA! That's all I can say. We always are rooting for the Americans to win, but. And certainly the men winning on that. Now, and that brings me to the Olympics, which I'm not really into the Winter Olympics. And you know why? We don't do Winter Olympics here. We don't have winters. They're very brief. Sometimes they're 3 days. This one's been a little more. But to me, your winter's only as long as the number of days you have to scrape ice off your windshield. And I've only had to do it twice this year. So it wasn't that bad. But it was colder. And we did get a pipe freeze and break, and we finally got it fixed yesterday. Thumbs up to AquaTurf, did a good job. So, that's the biggest reason. It's not like I go sliding down,
luges as a hobby or play hockey, for example. Some people certainly do. There's no doubt about it. They do. But anyway, and my wife is way into it, and she's loving it, and she's really loving figure skating and everything. That's what it is. And look, NBC wouldn't be paying all this money if nobody was watching it. Somebody's watching. It's just, I'm not. I got a lot of other things to watch. Which brings me, and that is our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. I did want to mention this because, yes, all I could think about were the people who listened to this podcast when this happened yesterday. Settled down after after Chris, Harry, and I went to the funeral. We went out and had a beer to commemorate Mr. Donovan, and then got home, settled in and everything. I go, okay, I got a good basketball night tonight. It should be fun. Couldn't find one of my remotes. Now, one of my remotes is the one that fires up 2 TVs. So I was only down to 1 TV. And, I said, Pat, it's a good experiment. It's a good experiment. Let's just pay attention. It's Jimmy Dykes. You don't like him. You don't like what he says. Didn't like him last night either. But put the sound on, watch the game, watch the whole game, leave it on one game. Let's see what happens. I enjoyed the heck out of it. However, I missed my other TVs. And I did find my remote finally. It was buried in a cushion underneath something. It was in a weird place. So anyway, I know you guys are relieved that on Saturday I will have 3 TVs so I can watch all these games. All right, that is our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Let's get to our Adams Ribco Gator of the Week, brought to you by our good friends at Adams Ribco. Place to go when you need some barbecue or Nana's Nuggets on Friday or anything else. It is the best place to go eat. We have 2 Gators of the Week. They both won gold medals at the SEC swimming. They're calling them gold medals now. Maybe it's because it's an Olympic year, but that's fine. Whatever they are. Maybe they do give gold medals. I'm sure they're not real gold. But anyway, Anita Botazo won the 100 breaststroke. Very good. And Jesus Gonzalez won the 3-meter diving. And so Florida is in good spot. Now, we'll get to Florida later, but I did want to mention this for 2 reasons. One is to recognize anybody who wins an SEC in anything. Like I said, SEC matters. And 2 is to let you know that 6 o'clock on Sunday is when the finals will be on. Florida right now is just a few points. I think 8.5 points behind Texas. Texas defending champ. Florida's won it before too. So it's going to be interesting. Florida, I think, qualified 19 swimmers to get into the finals. So, hey, we got a long way to go. I know that it's Thursday. We got a long way to go to Sunday. But we'll see how they are able to do up there. No question about it. But they are our Gators of the Week. Let's move along to our Leonardo's and Millhopper quick pick. Most of you who have gotten qualified, and I've sent you the emails for and I got a few of them left, so I'll send some more out today, because as you know, Leonardo's and Millhopper is giving us 20 subscriptions to another duly noted podcast, to patreon.com/duly noted. I got too many things going on. And so we send the link out to you. Some of the links I think people are having trouble with. Just type it in and it should be fine. And I notice a lot of people have cashed in on it, and that's great. So we'll send a few more out today. There's a few more, I think, left till we get to that 20 spot. And we appreciate them very much for doing that. But we also give away $25 at Leonardo's Millhopper every 3 weeks or so. That's kind of the way we've gone, and we're going to do it today. We need to do it today. It's time. And I tell you what, let's go ahead and get, and then we'll give you 2 more picks, and you can qualify for the next contest. Let's go ahead. We've got numbers between 14 and 97. We had so many people get in, and many multiply qualified, right? And so we had 14 and 97. I've got everybody written down on this sheet right here. Just Zach, a number between 14 and 97. You give it to me, and I will tell you who the winner is.
14 and 97. Let's see, why not 39?
39. Okay. Kennedy Fisher. I don't know Kennedy Fisher. I don't think it's maybe a first timer. Maybe he's been in before.
the contest, but I don't think he's won. So Kennedy Fisher is a winner, $25 at Leonardo's. And I wanted to throw something else in if you want it, like another gift certificate. So, but if you say, hey, look, I wouldn't use that. I don't get to Gainesville at all, whatever. I don't know where Kennedy Fisher lives. Anyway, send me your address and everything at patrickdooley54@gmail.com. That is also patrickdooley54@gmail.com is where you send your picks for this week. 2 chances to qualify. We're giving you this: Florida, Georgia, gymnastics, 2 versus 4 in Athens. Toss up, I would agree. So that's one. And then Florida, Ole Miss hoops, which I don't know what the spread is, but I think it'll be a lot. It's not going to be 22.5 like it was for South Carolina. But Florida will probably be favored. But hey, look, I'm calling it a trap game. Let's, because of what's coming up next week at Texas, Arkansas at home. But the bottom line is, you send me your picks, and we'll see if you can qualify for our next drawing. Anyway, let's move along. Appreciate our man Kyle Cohen over at Leonardo's at Millhopper. All right, let's get to our this, that, and the other.
What do you want? This, that, and the other.
Okay, this, that, and the other. It is brought to you by our good friend Notary Joe, who, of course, will come to your house and do your notary work for you. We appreciate him. 863-990-4884. You can reach him, and he'll come right to your house and do the notary for you. It is also brought to you by Darshackow Insurance. For all your home, auto, commercial, and life needs, Darshackow Insurance is the place to go. And by the Atlanta Hustle. The Atlanta Hustle are the Southeast's ultimate Frisbee team. We all know that. You got to get on that. Ultimate Frisbee. I may go out and play a little bit today. I was thinking about it. All right. Let us get to this, that, and the other. The this part of it is that, remember last year when I said no football coach are going to get fired and then everybody got fired? That was crazy. Well, this year I didn't say anything that stupid. But as the year's going by, I'm like, hey, I don't know if a lot of coaches are going to get fired because everybody spent football money already. So even the coaches I think maybe should get fired may not get fired because of the finances. And again, I keep looking at the finances, but I didn't say it out loud. I thought it. So that is, of course, Jerome Tang, big story, fired him with cause. He's hired Tom Mars. He's going to get his money. It was just a matter of whether they negotiated down to $10 million instead of $16 million. And that was kind of like out of nowhere, and we were all freaking out. Well, it's like it started the domino effect because we always see this happen, or the butterfly effect, whichever one you want to use. Steve Lavin got fired. You didn't even know he was still coaching probably. I think he was at San Diego State. Your man Doug Gottlieb got suspended for a game, and I think is on the verge of something happening with him. He got suspended by the league, though. But the point is, we have so many coaches that now all of a sudden I can see this happening. Mick Cronin should be fired. He should have been fired a while back, but he needs to be fired because the things he keeps saying, throwing his own player out of a game. Come on, man. That was a hard foul, but it wasn't look, you want to call it a flagrant one, that's fine. If you called it a flagrant two, then maybe I would have felt the same way, but it wasn't. He was just trying to make a hustle play. And then you threw him personally out of the game. He's just out of control, man. I don't know what's wrong with him. I think he could go. I think Lamont Paris. I mean, you can't be that up and down, I think Gates might have a problem in the SEC just because if they don't get in the tournament, I think he'll be all right. But Porter Mosier's a guy that I wonder about too. They're not very good, and we'll see. They made that big run with Loyola, and he got in the tournament last year, but he barely got in. So anyway, I think at the end of the day, we're going to find out that more coaches will get fired than we thought. And that is this, that, and the other. All right, let us move along. I did want to mention that one of our great sponsors, Mark Gaida, saw he and his lovely wife, Lauren, out there at the funeral on Wednesday, and we talked for a long time, just great people. And we talked about how we're going to keep this 12 going, and we're going to keep it going every Monday. You'll get a new 12, and I'm trying to just vary them and make them interesting that you guys will want to listen to. But call Mark Guide at Pepin Realty if you want to talk to him. He said he's been getting a few calls, so that's good. Good for you, Dooley Nation. I used to call there's no Dooley Nation. Even the Dooleys don't have a Dooley Nation. All right. Let's move along to our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Week. It is brought to you by our friends at Gallo Car Wash, where everybody's taking their pollen-ridden cars in to get those cleaned up. Our Sponge of the Week, he's been our Sponge of the Week before, and I'm sure he's been to Gallo Car Wash, is our man, Ruben Chinulu. Now, he had 17 rebounds in this game, but this stat was just remarkable when you see it. He's got 80 rebounds, and this is in his last 5 games. 80 rebounds in 120 less minutes. This century, nobody else has done that. And that's the great thing. He had 17 rebounds in 24 minutes the other day. They were able to get Handlockton in there and get him more time and not worry about injury, just what I was talking about. Not worry about fatigue. Now, guess what? Chinny, I'm sure they practice hard and everything, but Chinny doesn't have a game for 3 days till they play Ole Miss. That's good. And he only played 24 minutes in the other one. Anyway, I think you're seeing my point. But anyway, he is our Sponge of the Week, brought to you by Gallo Car Wash. Let us move along to our Los Linderos Smooth Move of the Weekend, brought to you by Los Linderos Tequila. Go beyond with Los Linderos. And I'm going to go with the Kennedy Callahan and Cassidy McClellan. So it's like a Dermot McRooney, or what was it? Dermot Mulrooney or Dylan McDermott. That was a fake game they played on Saturday Night Live. That was hilarious. Anyway, they just crushing the ball this weekend. Each 5 hits, just killing it. So they are smooth moves of the weekend, just for playing so well. 14 straight games. Each of them has gotten, all 14 games Florida's played, both of those young ladies have gotten on base. And that's why they're smooth. That's a smooth move. Los Linderos, we appreciate them. Let us move along to our BMI TeleMed Overachiever of the Weekend. Was exchanging emails with my man Charlie out there at BMI TeleMed. Achieve and maintain 727-383-1677. And we talked to him, and he sent a package. We just got a new package in, so I'm looking forward to getting going again. I will say this, all my weight loss, I had a lot of people who hadn't seen me in a long time that were here for Bill Donovan's funeral, and they were like, one of them even said, I was afraid you're sick. I go, no, I'm not sick. I'm healthier than I've been in a long time, and appreciate BMI TeleMed for helping me get there and to continue to get there and to continue to maintain. That is the key. And if you give them a call and say you heard about it on another duly noted podcast, you get a discount on your order. So do that. I can, and they send it, it's refrigerated. You stick it in your refrigerator and you get the syringes and everything. It's great, man. Just shot once a week. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, let us move along to our Overachiever of the Weekend. And our Overachiever of the Weekend this week is the Creighton player Josh Dix. Now, I don't know how many of you know about Josh Dix. His mother died a week ago from colon cancer. Certainly tragic story. And I'll give UConn credit. UConn had a moment of silence for her on the road, and that's very nice of them to do. And I guess Hurley's not that bad a guy all the time. However, I will say this. He scored 21 points in the game, and Creighton won. So, that is overachieving. When you can go out there, and not only are you dealing with the pain of loss, but your mom's picture, I'm sure, was up on the screen, or maybe just the moment of silence. I'd have a hard time playing. after that. Maybe that was the philosophy. Well, if he's thinking about his mom, he won't play well. But I would not say that about Dan Hurley or anybody. However, I just did say that. So delete that when you get a chance, Zach. The bottom line is very nice of them to do it, but that is an overachievement. There's no question about it. We appreciate that. Brought to you by BMI TeleMed, your weight loss specialist. Let's wrap it up with our Swamp games of the weekend. We've got so many, we can't list them all. And we know that you'll be watching a lot of them at the Swamp Restaurant because we have seen you there. And we were there Saturday, and it was unbelievable. We have to start out with Florida Gymnastics, which is Friday night. We mentioned that Florida, Georgia, it's 2 versus 4. It's Florida, Georgia. Did I mention it's Georgia? It's in Athens. It is on 7 o'clock on, I'm sorry, it's 4 versus 6. I got written down here, but I think it's 2 versus 4. Anyway, 7 o'clock on the SEC Network. So easy to watch tonight. That'll be great. That'll be, I'm sorry, Friday night. That is what we will be doing, Karen and I. And we may want to get a little pit. I think we're 2 behind on the pit, so we have to get on that. The Olympics are obviously going on all week. You guys know where to find it, mostly on NBC, but also on USA. If you're into it, watch it. Riviera is this weekend. If you're into it, watch it. I will probably watch a little bit of it, but I got so much basketball to watch. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'll get it on one of the TVs at some point. It should be interesting. It's been interesting the last few weeks. But here are the basketball games. Saturday, we know Florida is playing Ole Miss. I was not even aware. I'd written it down. I don't know why I wasn't aware of it. It's a noon game, so that's an early game, which means 1 o'clock out. Or 11 o'clock out there. So that's part of it. Get up, or get your blood going early, and go win a game like this. The crowd probably won't be overwhelming. They're following a team that's not winning, and it's 11 o'clock game. But anyway, so it's noon here in Gainesville. And maybe they do what Coach Spurrier said to do. Just leave your. They're playing at 11. We're playing at noon. Just leave your watches on that. It's on ESPN, by the way. Tennessee at Vanderbilt following that at 2 o'clock on ESPN. That's a good game. I'm looking forward to that. Although Vandy's struggling of late. I don't know if teams figured them out, or maybe it's just the SEC's tougher than teams they were playing earlier. Another game to watch, Arizona at Houston. That'll be a great game. 3 o'clock on ABC. Texas at Georgia. That's an interesting game to watch because you talk about a couple of bubble teams there. I think both of them are kind of in. They're would both be in now, but you could play your way out. And the loser of this game all of a sudden goes from I think we're in to we may be out. Anyway, that game's at 3:30 on SEC Network. So a lot of good stuff to watch. And you got Gator baseball. 6:30, 3:30, and 1 are the game times. Friday, Saturday, Sunday against Kennesaw State. They're all on SEC Plus if you subscribe to that channel. And I do, and I will be watching them on somewhere. There's just too much going on. There's so much going on. It's great. And we'll have so much to talk about on Monday with Coach Spurrier. We look forward to it. Appreciate Chris Doering for coming on. Appreciate everybody for watching, everybody for listening. Appreciate my medals that I got in the mail now. I know you can't see these through the thing, but I'm fired up about them. I'm going to bring them in tomorrow or Monday so we can show them out of the case. All I know is Zach Rothrock did a great job of doing this and handling it and dealing with me, and we will be back with another show on Monday. And till then, I am Pat Dooley saying I am deep, I am way back, and I am out of here.